What's the deal? It's your boy Jason Mike, Mr. Athletic over everything for no hobbies, only obsessions, as well as my clothing line, athletikovereverything.com. I wanted to share with you guys some information that I wish someone would have shared with me when I first went on my journey in embroidering. And knowing that one of my biggest endeavors would be creating hats. You know, I was really wanting to improve my business by doing embroidered hats. And one of the biggest things that I saw online, was the actual hoop that most of these embroidery machines come with. They're pretty standard, and one of my biggest issues or concerns was how low would I be able to get on the hat in terms of with the actual embroidering, because I saw a lot of times, you know, it felt like the embroidering was happening really high up on the hats, and if you wanted to get it really low like this one is, I was concerned and wondering if was there other options than the standard hoops that came with my Racoma 1502. Since I have a two head machine, I would need multiple hoops if I decide to go away from what they actually gave you. Now, early on, a few people did tell me that, hey, you don't need to get any other hoops. These work perfectly fine. But I knew I didn't want the actual hoops for clothing and things of that nature. So what I did was I told them to keep some of those hoops or all of those hoops and just give me extra hat hoops instead. The person that I actually got my machine from, or my representative, they threw in like 6 of these. I think I was supposed to receive 2. I wound up getting 6, and as well as they sent the hoops that came with the machine. So I wound up having a bunch of hoops. Now, for the first week or so, I did use these, and I found it was okay. It was kind of easy to get into, and they work pretty simple. You know, you know, put them into the little hooping station that they come with, and there's a little spot right here where you put your backing, and then you put your hat in. When you put your hat in, you take this little piece here, run it across, make sure it's snug, and you lock it in. Now, the only thing with this is that this is pretty, it's a little weird sometimes, it's a little funky. You have to work the hat a little bit more, and then trying to manipulate the hat to sit lower to where you're able to get this at a certain point in the hat to where you can get low to get the type of result that you want. It's kind of tricky. So I started doing research, and I found the hoop, the Gen 2. Right now, this particular hoop is much easier to work with, much easier to deal with. Once you get it in, you get your backing on, you take this whole little piece, you bring it down, lock it in, and it's pretty much good to go. Now, the one disadvantage to this particular hoop is if you hoop, or if you actually embroider on the side of hats, and most of my hats did. That was one of the big issues with my hat, because I did want to put my logo on the side of the hat. So this one didn't really account for that, but I'll get into that a little bit later in the video, how I was able to work around that, or another upgrade that had to be purchased. Now, this particular hoop is amazing. It works really well, but for $750, I'm not sure if most people who are getting into the embroidery game, is that a necessary ticket that they should actually invest in early on. Now, like I said before, I have a 2-head machine, so I bought 2 of these, and with me buying 2 of them, it comes with the station as well as the hoop, and it was $750, and for each additional hoop is $330. $350 or $375. For my 2 hoops and station was over $1,000. Right now, I had 6 of these for free, but I wanted to make sure that I was able to produce the best hats possible, so I went that route. If you have the disposable income, I don't think it's a bad purchase, but if there's something else that you can go and do, take that extra $1,000 and put into a heat press or materials or blanks or something like that. It may suit you to do that instead of paying that money up front for this. And in some ways, this particular hoop has a better or greater advantage than the Gen 2 hoop, and that being that you can actually stitch on the side of the hat. Like once you lock it in, it'll rotate to where you're able to embroider on the side of the hat, and that's a pretty important thing when you're trying to do volume. You don't have to take out, like once I get out of the Gen 2, if I want to embroider on the side of the hat, I have to get I have to upgrade the hoop. And they also make a hoop for the back of the hat as well as the side of the hat. Now, this hoop is another $300, right? So I had to pay $300 for an additional side hoop, and also you can actually hook it up to the back of the hat and set it up to where if you want to embroider something in a certain manner across the back of the hat. Now, I didn't buy 2 of these because I was unsure if it was worth the money, you know, spending another $300 plus dollars. Excuse me, another $300 plus dollars. Now, in retrospect, I probably should have bought 2 of them because my designs for my hats were mostly designs with something on the side of the hats, and it pretty much slows your process down. But when I first got my machine, I was having so many issues with the machine. I wasn't running 2 heads at the same time at that particular time. I was only running 1, so I kind of didn't mess with me. I was trying to just perfect the designs I actually had, but now I've done a much better job in terms of being able to stitch out the designs that I need to be stitched out. I'm able to be a little bit more effective, and typically the side of the hat designs don't take as long, so it's not that bad, but it could always be better, right? But this is an extra $300 and some. So if you guys are looking at getting the Gen 2, just know that in order to do other things with it, you're going to probably have to spend a little bit more money. So overall, you'll need to do both of these to do what this one can do. Now, the one thing I will say is that the Gen 2 does allow you to get a little bit lower on the cap to get a better, a lower design point. But what you'll find is if you use the standard hoop, if you wind up getting a design that's low, your needles may wind up hitting your hoop, and you're gonna break the machine. You're gonna break the needle or break the little piston or whatever that goes up and down. Now, I don't hear a lot of people talk about it, and at first I didn't think that it was necessary, but they sell the laser for these machines. They're like $150. I thought that was absurd. I was like, I'm not paying $150 for a laser. But what the laser will do is it'll go over exactly where that needle is going to go when you trace it. And what I found is that when you hoop it up and you're kind of questionable in terms of if you think it's going to hit, if that laser does not hit the hoop, it's not going to hit when it actually embroiders. And I got that after the fact. I wound up getting the laser probably 5-6 months later, and I would have saved myself so many messed up hats and garments and things of that nature if I didn't buy that laser. So if you guys are getting an embroidery machine, most definitely look to get a laser as well, because it will help you trace and be more efficient in terms of you know, design placement and things of that nature. But this is a quick little video. It's quick 10 minutes. I hope you guys can enjoy this information. If you guys have any questions or comments about the machine or embroidery or business or whatever, just hit me up. I try to do my best to answer the questions when people do. But if you guys also want to support my business, go to athletikovereverything.com. I have a bunch of cool stuff. I have Girls Love Power, got hats, we have a bunch of other things as well. And follow me on Instagram, Mr. Athletic Over Everything, on Instagram. I'm the big strong dude, you can't miss me. But until next time, later.